So Cursor did a Sword and Shield run. We're gonna take a look at and go from there. Look respectfully, chat. You know? Tenderizing the wings. So that's your first mistake, I guess. You don't really need to tenderize the wings. Tenderizing the arms is okay, but you don't need to tenderize the wings. You shouldn't ever be hitting the chest. Okay, so you missed a perfect rush opening here. 3-ring fireball is a perfect rush opening. 3-ring fireball is a perfect rush opening. So given your current position, what you should probably do is try to either draw attack into the middle after it explodes, or you can guard roll into the center and then backstep. But this attack is an amazing opportunity for Perfect Rush. You can stand right in the center. You can walk right into the center of the explosion and then backstep the inner explosion. Or you can stand on this ring, on the perimeter of the inner explosion. You can backstep here when it explodes, and then the leaping thrust will move you out of the way of this one. But in either case, you should always be perfect rushing the head on this attack. How good is the iframe of the backstep? It is higher with an evade window 0. An evade window 0 backstep has more iframes than an evade window 5 roll. So it has giga iframes. Very many iframes. Nani?
Button.
Sorry, I want to correct myself. Backstep on Sword and Shield has the same number of iframes as an evade window 5 normal dodge. But the backstep is also affected by evade window. So it will always be equal to or higher than evade window 5 normal dodge. Guess I won't find it. Anyway, the idea is that you should always be backstepping this ring, either iframing the middle explosion or standing on the border and backstepping as it explodes and then moving back in. So this is even without backstepping this explosion. Even without backstepping this explosion, you should either be using your draw attack and then doing a perfect rush 1, or you can guard roll. So you can press guard, you can roll forward, and then from a roll, you can backstep. Hello, Gio, welcome in. So you should always be perfect rushing. Okay, you're a bit late, and you're too far forward. You're hitting his chest instead of his head, so you would have been able to better position and hit his head. And you could have backstepped the last lightning strike there. That's good. You might have been able to backstep that. You should not, as a Sword and Shield player, especially in solo, you should not be using your regular Clutch Claw. Sword and Shield has a Claw Uppercut attack. Sword and Shield has the Claw Uppercut attack. You should be using that to Clagger, because the Claw Uppercut will refresh or partially refresh your Tenderize. So when you have your weapon drawn, which you can do by pressing guard, when you have your weapon drawn, which you can do by pressing guard, and you roll, you can press your Slinger aim key to perform the Claw Uppercut, and this will Clagger as well as refresh Tenderizes. So you should be aiming for the head to keep the head tenderized without having to clutch claw it again, instead of manually clutch clawing the arm like you did here. The only time it's okay to do this is when you're too far away to actually make the timing. But you had plenty of time here. You should have positioned yourself to roll uppercut the head. You're also using... so again, here you're missing a perfect rush opportunity. And you should be hitting the head, not the arms. You're hitting the arms a little bit too much. Because you were eating, you probably should have not done Perfect Rush here, or you should have done a quick one. So, you don't always have to Perfect Rush after Leaping Slash. So, Leaping Slash is the way you start Perfect Rush. Leaping Slash is that first jumping attack when you go to Perfect Rush. But you don't actually have to commit to Perfect Rush. So, here's Leaping Slash, right? And this is the beginning of Perfect Rush. But you can instead press B circle right click, and you can perform your sword attacks after Leaping Slash. So if you notice you're in a position where you don't want to Perfect Rush, you can do 2 hits really quick. And then dodge after. Get a little bit more damage. Hello, Notaru. So this is a situation where I would have, having eaten my potion, which I wouldn't have done either, I would not have healed here. You probably don't need to heal here. And then on this Perfect Rush, I would have just done basic sword attacks. I wouldn't have even bothered doing Perfect Rush because you were late. I would have just done some basic sword attacks. But given that you used this Leaping Slash... Oh, it was Nullberries? Oh, I misread. Sorry. I misread. It was a Nullberry. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, you could have got a couple hits there. You're also using Rising Slash a lot. Not Rising Slash, but Advancing Slash, whatever it's called. That attack. Use that attack a lot. You should have rolled forward into the lightning here. You're worrying about your... You're worrying about your Dragon Blight quite a bit. I'm noticing. Here you should have backstepped. Why did you Dragon? Why did you Nullberry? Oh, because you have Dragon Blight, I guess. I think you're worrying about your Dragon Blight too much. I would have rolled to the side here. So after seeing this attack, you can do an entire full Perfect Rush, especially since you're so close. So I would have rolled to the right, and then backstepped, and done a full Perfect Rush, instead of doing the short Perfect, instead of doing this sort of failed PR1 here. I would have reset, because you're so close, I would have reset your Perfect Rush by rolling and backstepping. And do a full Perfect Rush on, but you managed to land it on the head, which is good. Yeah, you're using the draw attack quite a lot. So I've mentioned this before, when you get topples on Alatreon, when you get elemental topples on Alatreon, what you should do is roll after the uppercut. So here, after you do the Perfect Rush 2, after you do that Perfect Rush 2, the uppercut, you should roll, backstep, and then do another Perfect Rush. And you'll have enough time, you'll have more than enough time to do another full Perfect Rush. If you have to take a couple steps to get to him, you can always shorten the second uppercut. So for elemental topples against Alatreon, you can do 1 2/3 Perfect Rushes. And if you have to run up to him, you can shorten the uppercuts if need be. And then again, you're hitting his back legs. You want to avoid this as much as possible. Not only are you hitting his back legs, but they're not tenderized either. So here you should have aimed. Once you got off this Perfect Rush, you should have just backstepped straight away. Because you're kind of on top of where he's going to stand up. You should have just backstepped straight away. There we go. You should have, from here, instead of attacking the way you are, I would have just backstepped this direction. And then moved back this way. Because he's going to stand up and you'll be next to his arms or his head. Instead of doing a couple attacks and ending up near his back legs. Right, if you have backstep the way I said, you would be like right here underneath his wing, hitting his front legs, maybe even being able to PR3 the head. As opposed to repositioning to his back legs. These back legs aren't tenderized, means you don't want to touch them. I liked that you repositioned. I like that you reposition towards his head. I don't like that after repositioning towards his head, you hit his arm. You reposition towards his face, which is your primary target. You should always be aiming for his face. You have... I don't know how much element you're running, but you probably have more than enough to topple. You've already toppled. So you shouldn't ever be hitting his arms after toppling, or you should be avoiding hitting his arms, I should say. You don't want to hit his arms if you have the opportunity to hit his head. So, back here, you reposition. Very good. I like this. But here, you should have just attacked his face. Okay, so here you should have... I don't know if you know this. I've already mentioned this before. You can backstep after dodging. So when that lightning procced underneath you and you rolled forward, you should have just immediately backstepped Perfect Rush. Right? You rolled towards that lightning strike, the row of lightning. You should have just immediately backstepped. Because against Alatreon, this will help you against a lot of different things. So for Alatreon, when he does this row of lightning attack, after the first or second row of lightning spawns, he pushes his head forward, and he pushes his head forward to where the first row of lightning spawns. So you actually want to be standing on where this lightning spawns. That's the best place to be standing, in case you didn't know that. So you're in perfect positioning here. You roll forward, immediately backstep, and you'll be right in front of his face. See how he pushes his head forward slowly? And you can perfect rush 3 his head there, if you're close enough. So another thing you're not doing here... I mean, it's not a big deal, to be honest. It's not a big deal. But, you can... There's a couple basic things that you're not really doing. So, number one is that you can backstep after rolling. Okay? You can backstep after rolling. Number two is you can backstep after guarding. So you can press guard and then backstep. And so in the situation on the video, right here, you can backstep this lightning. You can stand literally on top of it, and because the backstep has so many iframes, you don't need to run out of the lightning. You stand on top of it and backstep. And just because of the positioning here, you can hit the arm or the head. So you can roll and backstep, and you can guard and backstep. And this is a situation where I would have guard backstepped or attacked the air and backstep, so that you don't end up on his chest. So yeah, this is the lightning that I would have backstepped and hit the arm. I would have been closer to the outside of his body. This is another example that you could have either guard backstepped or roll backstep on that explosion. I like that you sheathed. This is a bit of an interesting clutch claw, but it worked out. So again, here, I would have just walked up to the head, pressed guard, and then done a backstep. Instead of using this basic attack, this draw attack is eating through your sharpness, as well as eating through your Frostcraft bonus. And it's not a perfect rush. So for a wall bang, you don't have enough time to do the double perfect rush, so that's fine. His roar, I would have guard backstepped, but that's fine. You're big.
You are a raider. Legendary.
Who's this? So here's an example of where you could have roll uppercut. The clutch claw uppercut, roll uppercut, you could have grabbed his front arms with it. Not that that's a big deal. Not that it really changes anything. You gonna get sniped here? No. Okay. Once you've got a topple, like you're eating a lot of nullberries, and in the long run, it probably doesn't make a difference. But you're eating a lot of nullberries that I think is unnecessary, because you've already got your topple. So you don't need to keep spamming nullberries. This triple head slam, you got baited. You can backstep the third hit of the triple head slam. Guard backstep. So once again, in-game, you can do the... You can do guard, backstep. Or you can just attack the air and backstep. But guard backstep's pretty useful because it's stationary, keeps you stationary. And you can guard backstep the third head slam in the air and get some perfect rush off on his toes, maybe his arms. Once again, eating null berries. You're losing out on damage because you're eating these null berries. I would not have gone for a perfect rush because of how delayed you were. I would have just slashed his feet with the right click circle B combo. I guess it would be right click for you. You're on mouse and keyboard. Run straight at him. Stop aiming for his arms. I see you didn't even hit anything, but I'm still getting triggered. So again here, you're too far forward because of this draw attack. This draw attack is moving you forward. If you just do a guard roll or a guard backstep and position in front of his face, you can just lifesteal through all of this. It doesn't even matter if you're standing in the ice or not. You do enough damage that you'll stay full HP, despite the damage you're taking. So once again, what I would have liked to have seen here with the row of lightning is make a visual note of where this first line spawns. And this is sort of where you want to stand and or start comboing. So I would run up to where this lightning bolt here is, and then I would do a guard backstep. Or I would, from about here, I would roll into this and then backstep. So I would either manually walk right where this is spawning, or I would guard roll into this lightning here, and then backstep because that's where you want to be standing to smack his face. So look at where his face is positioned. If you were performing leaping thrust, you would be in perfect spot. But now you're too far forward. So you've been too far forward a couple times because his face pushes forward. Right. You can use that for TCS timing and spacing. You can use that for switch axe, morph sweep, a couple other things. And again, here I would have used the claw uppercut. Claw uppercut refreshes, tenderizes. Right. So I would use the claw uppercut to Clagger instead of using the clutch claw. And so here, because you have to do your first slash before doing your backstep, you're actually losing out on damage, even though you're getting more hits in, because you're not doing your perfect rush straight away. You get knocked over because of that. So try to practice doing the guard backstep. Try to practice using guard backstep. And try to remember that you can draw your weapon by doing a guard roll, and then you can claw uppercut. So guard backstep is very important on Sword and Shield. Right, press guard, then we can backstep. And you can do it quicker. You can do guard and then backstep in sort of a delayed fashion. Or you can just do it all at once. Right? And by utilizing that guard backstep, we can perform perfect rush without having to do that first attack. Instead of doing this attack and then backing up, we can just immediately start backing up. And it saves us, half a second or something, but that half a second can matter. That could be the difference between being able to dodge afterwards and not being able to dodge. Or getting an extra perfect rush hit in. How is your 24-hour stream? I think this is fine, but I think you're still a little bit too far forward. This is slightly too close. What you can do, look where the actual downspout is landing. Look for the center of the downspout, right? Stand a little bit in front of the center of the downspout. So not dead center, but just a little bit in front of it. And then you can do a backstep perfect rush. And if you time it correctly, you can actually do full perfect rush 1, short perfect rush 2, full perfect rush 3 on his head. And all of it will hit the head. Instead, you're too far forward again. Because you're using that slashing attack first. You're a bit too far forward hitting his arms. You always want to be, especially if you got the topple. Your target should be the head only, basically. So here you could also perfect... Okay, you looked like you were gonna perfect rush. And I already know what's gonna happen. There's a user error. That's okay. So just for the eschaton again. So this is just to point out sort of a general targeting issue you're having. You're hitting untenderized legs, right? I would have run all the way around him. When he goes to eschaton here, I would have run back to his far shoulder, because he's going to turn. As Alatreon charges his eschaton up, he rotates counterclockwise. So I would have run under his body, around the other side, or all the way around the outside to hit his arms and head, as opposed to stopping at whatever's closest to you, because you're going to end up hitting these legs. And this is a bit... You don't want to hit these untenderized legs. So once you get the topple, always hit the head if you can, and only hit the arms if you can't. If you can't hit the head or the arms, you should be repositioning, not attacking. You don't want to worry about these legs. So again, because you're using this forward slash, and you're already... This is where you want to be. This spot you're in right now is where you want to be doing your perfect rush, but because you're using this draw attack, you're moving too far forward. You're going to hit his chest. So practice master the guard backstep, and for that lightning attack, this is another attack. The head slam is another one you can guard backstep. So during this, when you see this big windup for his head slam, you can hear it. He does that inhale, that inhale, snort, whatever you want to call it. You can hear him winding it up. You can see him winding it up. When he does that, you want to say, where's his head? His head's going to be back here. So I want to position myself so that when I guard backstep, I'm perfect rushing towards the head, which is down here. Instead of doing your draw slash. Yeah. So you, I think there's just a lot of basic sword and shield things you need to practice that you're missing out on, because you rolled, and then you just slashed, and then you did a backstep. You don't need that extra slash. You can immediately backstep after performing a roll, and then in addition, again, targeting issue. You should be going for his head here. He's already skull phase. The minimap's covered, but he's already skull phase. He's gonna die well before he does eschaton judgment. So given that he's going to die well before he does eschaton judgment, you don't need to worry about a topple. So you should be targeting the head again. So the arm hits here are fine. The arm hits here are perfectly okay. But you reposition, and then you sort of face his chest again, and end up hitting his arms and chest, instead of going for his head. You should be standing beside his head and sort of perfect rushing to the side. This is a good perfect rush, but again, you could have done more by doing a guard backstep. Once again, this should be a guard backstep instead of a draw attack. You should already be in your backstep animation moving forward. You should already be performing leaping slash here. Those slashes I'm actually okay with. Those slashes there. This is like a interesting space where you don't have a ton of time to actually combo here. And his head swipes may be a little bit different. What you could do, a bit difficult to show from this angle, instead of ending up underneath him, right? So he does the head slam. You could roll to your right to stay in front of him. So you could roll to your right to stay in front of him, and then you could backstep this way, or this direction. Right, backstep here, leaping slash back, and you'd be hitting his arms with the perfect rush here. But given where you were, that sword attacks were okay. And once again, you're not leaping slash. This is prime time. This triple fireball, triple ring attack. This is like the easiest perfect rush opening for Sword and Shield. So you're not capitalizing that. You can either roll inside, draw attack, right? You waited until you were inside the ring to perform your draw attack. You could actually draw attack from here, from the second ring. You could draw attack into the middle. It moves you, when you're sheathed, the draw attack moves you quite a bit. You take a couple steps forward. So you should utilize the fact that this attack moves you forward to escape this ring. And so from here, you would start your draw attack, and then you'd be able to perfect rush his head. But instead, you move to the inside and then begin your draw attack. So this positioning is what's going to result in you hitting the chest. Although you could still hit the head from here, actually. When you backstep, and I'll show this with a training pole, when you do your leaping thrust, leaping slash from your backstep, it doesn't have to be straightforward. It doesn't have to be straightforward backwards. I'm facing the training pole right now. When I perform my leaping slash, I can angle it about 30 degrees. So even when you did that draw attack backstep, you could have backstepped, and then you could have gone to the side to hit the head again. If you weren't eating there, if you had a little more confidence, you could have actually backstepped that and hit his feet. Little... Not something you would regularly do, but you can. So again, here's an example. Can't see. Oh, my bad. It's alright. I'm a Pepega. So you, where is it? You get yeeted off, and then you roll here. So this, he's doing the straight beam. I don't know if you recognize that in the moment, but you could backstep this, either going left, right, or even maybe straight back. You could backstep this and get some hits on his toes, and that would heal you up. Again, you're worrying about null berries when you don't need to be. He's gonna die before Eschaton, so you didn't need to eat that null berry. It doesn't matter. And again, you're hitting his arms, which... not great. So from here, I mentioned this before, he did the double head swipe previously in the video, and you were underneath him at that point in time. This is a great example of when you're in front of him, you can backstep. So this is a great example of when you're in front of him, you could have just maybe walked around, did like a little U-turn. U-turn to dodge the first head swipe, and then you could backstep to dodge the second one. And you'd be able to get some hits here. So once again, this line of lightning is exactly where you want to be standing. So here I would really delay this. If I was in this position, I would really delay this perfect rush, like not use it, or maybe just spam it here so that I could roll forward and then immediately do a backstep. Yeah, you would have been in perfect position to perform a leaping slash here, and then perfect rush his head. It worked out because you got a horn break, I guess. Worked out because you got a horn break. So your main issues are not utilizing guard backstep often enough, not backstepping after dodges. You only ever perform your backstep after an attack. You only ever perform a backstep after an attack, but there are other ways you can backstep. There's backstepping after an attack, which is what you're using. You're doing this to backstep. You can backstep after rolling. You can backstep after guarding, but you can also backstep after slinger bursting too. You can, well, you don't need to backstep, sorry. But when you slinger burst, you can perform leaping slash. So there's a bunch of different ways you can initiate perfect rush, and you're only using one of the 4 ways. So getting used to that is important. And then utilizing the other 3 ways to backstep or perfect rush is important. And then the second thing is using your claw uppercut, and your third thing is your targeting. Make sure you're hitting the arms and head as much as you can. Make sure you're positioning yourself to hit those. Trying to stay either in front or beside his head when you can, as opposed to using your draw attack, which moves you forward all the time. Yeah. Hope that helps you out. Hope that helps chat out.